Good morning, Otters. Welcome to this rainy Tuesday morning, or whenever it is you're tuning in. So we left then with Felix and Zelda had just been spied by some Nazi soldiers. So let's see how they get out of this one. Then the Nazi soldiers started shooting at us, and suddenly I could move again and think. Grab Zelda. Get away. Hide. Bullets are cracking into the tree trunks all around us. Bits of flying bark are stinging us in the face. We turn and run back into the forest, jumping over logs, crashing through bushes, weaving around brambles, slithering in and out of tangled undergrowth, scrambling over rocks. I try not to think about Zelda's poor feet in their bedtime slippers, or about the poor children in their pit. Hide. Over there, I say to Zelda, that big clump of bushes. We wriggle under the thorny branches and through thick layers of ivy. With my hands, I dig down into the last year's leaves, which are damp and soft and even a bit warm when you get deep enough. Zelda digs too, and doesn't complain once about her sore finger. We don't stop until we've made a secret place that is dark and quiet, where we lie trembling and listening. Zelda holds my hand. I can hear Nazi soldiers shouting. Their boots are thudding as they run around in the forest looking for us. Nazi dogs are barking. You know how when you're living in a secret cellar in a city ghetto with lots of other kids, and you all make a tent with your coats and snuggle inside and try to feel cosy and safe, even though outside the streets are full of Nazis? That's what me and Zelda are doing in this burrow, except we haven't got our coats anymore. We haven't got our friends from the cellar either. I say a silent prayer to Rickmore Crompton. I ask her to protect our friends who are still on that terrible train. Please don't let them end up in a pit, too. Suddenly, thinking about that makes me not want to stay cosy and safe in this hole. I want to jump out and find a sharp stick and creep up on those Nazis and stab them hundreds of times until their guts are hanging out and they beg for mercy and promise never to shoot people ever again. But I wouldn't show them mercy. I'd keep stabbing them, and... You're hurting me, whispers Zelda. I realise I'm squeezing her hand really tight. Sorry, I say, letting go. And don't tell her what I was thinking. She's seen enough killing and violence today without me going on about more. I feel ashamed and push the angry thoughts out of my mind. Zelda holds my hand again. It's okay, she says. I'm frightened too. In the distance, the soldiers are still shouting. I don't speak German, but you don't have to understand the words to know when somebody wants to kill you. Don't worry, I whisper to Zelda. The Nazis won't find us. I hope I'm right. I can't see Zelda in the gloom, but I know she's thinking about something. I can tell from her serious breathing in my ear. Felix, she said at last. Those children. Where are their mummies and daddies? I have to wait a bit before I reply, because just thinking about those children makes me feel very sad and upset. I try to imagine them covered up with ferns and wild flowers, but it doesn't help. I don't know, I say quietly. I don't know where their mummies and daddies are. It's the truth. They could be dead with bullets in them like Zelda's parents, or sent to a death camp like mine. Or they could be alive and just discovering the terrible thing that's been done to their children. I don't say these things out loud. Zelda is still trembling, and I don't want to upset her even more. Did some Nazis hurt those children? Asks Zelda. I hesitate again. I know why she's asking. Probably, I say, but we can't be certain. We didn't actually see them do it. Zelda's breathing is even louder now, and I can tell she knows they did. I hate Nazis, she says. Poor thing. She must feel awful. Her mum and dad were Nazis before the Polish resistance killed them. I've seen the photo of her father in a Nazi uniform in the locket round her neck. When I think about my mum and dad being dead, at least I know they were Jewish and innocent. Poor Zelda has to think about her parents being part of a gang of brutal murderers. Your mummy and daddy loved you very much, I say to her gently. Try to remember that. I can't, says Zelda. Try to think about a happy time you had with them, I suggest. It's what I do when I'm feeling bad about Mum and Dad, but it doesn't always work. When I was little, says Zelda, we had chickens. Not Nazi chickens, nice chickens. She starts crying. I try to think of something else to say, something to help Zelda have happy memories of her parents, but I can't think of anything. I wish I was there now. I wish I was little now, she sobs. Poor thing. It must be terrible not to not have a family when you're only 6. It's bad enough when you're my age. You've still got a family, I say quietly to Zelda. I reach out in the darkness and give her a hug so she knows I mean me. Zelda doesn't say anything, but she struggles closer and cries into my shirt, so I'm pretty sure she does know. Felix, she says when she's finished crying, will you always be my family? Yes, I say. Will you stay with me forever and ever? She says. I think about this. I remember how Mum and Dad promised to come back one day and they never did, but I know they wanted to. That's the important thing with a promise. You must want to keep it. I promise, I say. I promise too, says Zelda. She snuggles into me. I listen for the soldiers again. Nothing, just forest insects and the wind in the trees. But the Nazis might not have gone yet. They could be back in the pit, smoking more cigarettes and covering the children with dirt. I think we should hide here till the morning, I say to Zelda. All right, she says. We haven't got any dinner, I say. Sorry. There aren't even any weeds in this burrow, just old leaves. We daren't eat those in case there's mould on them that gets into our brains and makes us think we're opera singers. I've seen it happen. That's okay, says Zelda in a small voice. I'm not hungry. I know she is because I am. I hug her even tighter. Sometimes love from your family can make your tummy not hurt quite so much. Go to sleep, I whisper to Zelda. Tell me a story, she says, one where nobody gets dead. I tell her a story about 2 children called Felix and Zelda, who meet 2 other children called William and Violet Elizabeth. They all live together with some very friendly chickens who give them lots of eggs to eat. To say thank you to the chickens, Felix and Zelda invent a machine that feeds them automatically. That's silly, murmurs Zelda. Machines can't feed chickens. It's in the future, I say. 1965. All right, says Zelda. Rickmore Crompton doesn't set her William stories in the future, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind. The wind in the trees is getting louder now, and the air is getting colder. Carefully, I scoop some more leaves onto Zelda to keep her warm. More story, please, she murmurs. One of the chickens falls in love with Zelda, I say. It wants to be her pet. She calls it Hubert. Don't you know anything? Says Zelda sleepily. My pet chicken's name is Goebbels. Sorry, I say. I tell her the next part of the story about how Goebbels can juggle eggs. Finally, Zelda's soft breathing lets me know she's asleep. I wish I could doze off too, but I can't. There are busy insects in these leaves and they tickle. My brain is busy as well, wondering what we're going to do next. If we don't get food soon, we're in big trouble. There's not much point being snug and safe in a secret burrow if you're dead. We need a safe hiding place that has food. The only safe place I know in the whole of Poland that definitely has food is the Catholic orphanage where Mum and Dad hid me. But it's hundreds of kilometres away. We'd have to get past about 1 million Nazis to even find it. Zelda's bedtime slippers just wouldn't last the distance. Neither would our tummies. We need somewhere local, which means I have to ask a grown-up for help. But asking for help can be risky these days. A lot of grown-ups aren't very good at listening to kids, especially not while they're shooting at them. Okay, we're going to leave it there for today. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to email me with your work or if you have any questions. And yeah, I will catch up with you in some more of the story tomorrow. Have a good day.